What did she share with you?
She thinks she's going to jail. I'm also a former Cook County Sheriff for the Department of Corrections, and I suggest that she go and take a tour of that facility so she can...
He showed up smiling, actually smiling, as if the entire town hadn't just witnessed him torch millions of taxpayer dollars without a hint of remorse. And there he was, sitting across from the very people he was supposed to protect. That's the kind of audacity we're dealing with. But forget him for a moment. Let's talk about her, Tiffany Henyard. If you've breathed near Dalton or scrolled through social media lately, you've heard the name. Not because she's winning awards or turning the town around, but because she's become the face of one of the most explosive local government scandals in years. And the wildest part? She never flinched. Not once. The fallout began when former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was called in to investigate Dalton's finances. What she uncovered wasn't just eyebrow-raising, it caused full-body whiplash. The town is buried under a staggering $365 million debt. That's not a budget problem. That's financial annihilation. And smack dab in the middle of this chaos, sitting on a throne of receipts, is Tiffany Henyard. Get this, $443,000 spent on Amazon in a single day. Not for emergency supplies or vital equipment, but on random junk and luxury items. Credit card. Charges scattered everywhere, no paperwork, no approvals, just treating the town's money like her personal credit card. Meanwhile, local businesses weren't paid, police overtime was off the charts, and vendors were left hanging. Now federal investigators are investigating alleged money laundering, public funds funneled into private pockets, luxury trips, and blatant power plays. At first, Tiffany was loud, dismissing reporters, brushing off critics with smug silence, flexing her status with cold, no comments. But after Lightfoot's report dropped, silence, vanished. No press conferences, no social media outbursts, just gone. Her office, empty, her staff, clueless, reporters, blocked. Everyone began asking, where is Mayor Tiffany Henyard? This mess is about more than stolen dollars. It's about stolen trust. People believed in her, voted for change, and got a con instead. Dalton isn't some affluent suburb where missing checks go unnoticed. This is a town where every cent counts. While residents struggled to pay rent, Tiffany was living large, booking 5-star hotels and flying first class like a celebrity on tour. The Vegas trip alone, $26,000 spent. But it didn't stop there. $99,000 in Atlanta at the Four Seasons, $133,000 in New York at the Marriott Marquise. This wasn't business travel, it was a lifestyle. Then it gets darker. One cop racked up $108,000 in overtime in 2023, then $114,000 the next year, on top of his salary. Another officer pulled $87,000, then $102,000 in OT. Were they patrolling 24/7? The math doesn't add up. Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey, Tiffany's ride or die, is now facing 9 federal charges for bankruptcy fraud, accused of hiding assets and lying under oath. His lawyer says pressure is mounting on him to flip on Tiffany, and at this point, nobody would be surprised. Loyalty around Tiffany is cracking fast. Her inner circle, staffers, trustees, longtime allies, are either disappearing or turning against her. One assistant, Carelli, broke ranks and blew the whistle, calling Tiffany manipulative, deceitful, and obsessed with her image. She said Tiffany ran Dalton like a queen on a reality show, reckless spending, constant lies, and treating staff like pawns. Nepotism runs deep too, allegedly hiring friends and family, padding payrolls, giving jobs to people with criminal records, with no vetting or background checks, just vibes. Perhaps the most audacious move? Tiffany proposed slashing the mayor's salary to $25,000, but only if someone else won. Basically saying, if I lose, the job's worthless. That's not governance. That's manipulation in plain sight. Some trustees were reportedly handpicked, some endorsements questionable, and documents mysteriously vanished. Confidential files gone. Dalton isn't facing a mayor in crisis. It's a full-blown political inferno. The Democratic Party, Tiffany, claimed backed her. They flat out denied it. Then came a scene straight from a political thriller. Robert Collins, a city employee, says he was fired not for misconduct, but because Tiffany didn't like his wife's politics. Fired without board approval, which, if true, is outright illegal. Abuse of power in broad daylight. And those ice rinks she built? Thousands spent on two, one allegedly named after her daughter, without board approval or community input. She just decided, like a queen of her own estate, not a mayor of a struggling town. Now the Illinois Attorney General is demanding financial records for her cancer awareness charity, which she ran. Serious claims say taxpayer money was funneled into it. That's not awareness, that's exploitation. Naturally, the FBI's involved because you don't torch public money this badly and dodge accountability for long without federal eyes stepping in. And it gets worse. She fired the police chief who began investigating her questionable spending. As soon as he got close to the truth, he was gone. Coincidence? Nobody thinks so. It smelled like a cover-up, a warning to anyone daring to get too close. The community exploded. Town hall meetings filled with cries, shouts, and desperate pleas for answers. Workers unpaid, bills piling up, and Tiffany missing in action. When she did respond, it was cold, defensive, dismissive. No accountability, just attitude. She acted like everything was fine, telling reporters, "Y'all don't do your research. You just listen to people feeding you fake stories." Girl, what? When people asked for proof and transparency, she labeled it fake news, painting herself as the victim even while the evidence screamed otherwise. And then she vanished again. Rumors swirl that she started going by her middle name, Aisha, trying to slip under the radar. Some say she's hiding, others believe she's dodging subpoenas, and a few are convinced she's plotting a comeback. But here's the kicker. Tiffany Henyard wasn't even supposed to be mayor. The original contenders were seasoned trustees like Joyce Washington and Cassandra Stone. Yet, right before the deadline, one trustee slipped Tiffany's name in at the last second, and boom, she won. Some say it was all planned behind the scenes, and honestly, that wouldn't surprise anyone. Because the moment Tiffany got power, she swung hard. She fired staff loyal to the old administration, replaced key players, and clashed with longtime employees. One woman, Stephanie Weidman, said Tiffany told her flat out, "You're not part of my team," then stripped her of job duties and froze her out. Pure ego, zero logic. Cassandra? She was literally locked out of her office, not a figure of speech, literally. When she finally got back in, sensitive files like social security numbers and medical records were just left lying around, a privacy disaster waiting to explode. And the lawsuits? They're stacking up fast. Sandra Tracy says she was fired after returning from medical leave. She worked unpaid from her car while caring for her sick husband and claims the stress caused a heart attack. She's suing for emotional distress. Karen Johnson was fired after refusing to help with Tiffany's recall campaign because Tiffany allegedly used public employees for campaign work, which isn't just shady, it's illegal. Then there's Samisha Williams, fired after losing her trustee race. She says she was ordered to block resident permits unless they donated to Tiffany's campaign. When she refused, she got a termination letter hand-delivered by a police officer. She's now suing at county and federal levels. So how did no one stop her? Was everyone asleep at the wheel? Or was Tiffany just that good at playing the game? Because the pattern is painfully clear. Grab power, silence opposition, reward loyalty, punish dissent, rewrite the rules, burn bridges, smile for the camera, and repeat. Now that the house of cards is collapsing, where is she? Gone. But karma's circling. Carolee turning on her is a sign. The board rewriting spending policies. Another. The FBI knocking, the Attorney General digging, and the public finally waking up. Oh yeah, the writing's on the wall, so what's next? Will Tiffany Henyard go to prison? Will more whistleblowers step forward? Will Dalton survive this? We don't know yet. But one thing's for sure, this story isn't over. Not even close. And now it's your turn. Would you have seen it coming? Would you vote for her again? Or is this just another classic case of power corrupting from the inside out? Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one woman. It's about a broken system that let her rise. And the real victims? They're still here. Still, waiting, still hoping someone finally says enough.